All right. What I want to do is make a riser for these so that people can stack up two of these. 'Cause it's like my most popular model on makerworld. So I'm just gonna live stream me doing it. So I just got them two stacked up here in CAD so I get measurements. I can measure the bottom here, figure out I need something that's 30.5 millimeters. I can measure the dimensions, 132. I usually just write these measurements down on a piece of paper in front of me. Just create a new design. I gotta get another measurement. I forgot to check the overall length. So we want a rectangle, so we're gonna choose rectangle, center rectangle. Pretty sure it was 132, but we want to have some clearance. Yeah, so we're gonna do we'll do 134. Oh no, 133 is fine. I'll go back to our sketch. Definitely not an expert at this, just kind of bumped around and figured out how to use it. Make this a construction line, so we just want to go to the center here. Do it off this back one as well. I always forget to turn off construction, and I put down another square, and it's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, I flipped the numbers around since they're so close. This is supposed to be 132. That one's 133. Do the same dimensions. Making these a little bit smaller because I'm going to use the radius tool in there. It'll make sense here once I get it extruded. Alright, so there's that. Just getting some other measurements here off my piece of paper. I think I'm going to make this 2 millimeters thick here. Doesn't need to be very thick, just needs to. Okay, I see what we have to change something already. Make a line through here so I can have two different areas to extrude from. Cat's trying to get into the garbage. Make this one go up 5. 5. Oh, so now one thing I gotta check is the clearance from here, from this face to that face. 3.5, that should be fine. I have to add 2 millimeters to that measurement because I want it to be offset. Alright, so we got that. That is not the direction we want, so I might have to change this a little bit. Actually, you know what? I might have to. Change the overall dimensions. So I would like for the fillets to go towards the inside, but I need clearance. Alright, there we go. That's what we want. Probably gonna add more clearance on that though. That would be like right on, and you never design stuff like that. Just never really works how you hope it would. What I'm gonna do, going back into the sketch, and we're gonna change our dimensions for these pockets here. Just gonna add a millimeter overall. That'll give us, should be plenty of clearance. It's always nice to round all these edges off. That way you don't have just crazy sharp stuff. It also makes it look like an actual of quality part, even if it is just like half a millimeter or whatever, just to take that sharpness off of there. It's kind of where I spend most of my time after I make something, like getting the actual squares and those simple geometries done doesn't take too long. But now I'm going to sit here and play with this fillet tool for a while. Alright, so now the moment of truth. Save this. Then we can go back into our well, apparently my headphones just shut off. Doesn't like it. There's no audio, but whatever. All right, now in Fusion, okay, good. We have hybrid design. They changed this to where you have to have hybrid design on to insert components. Insert this, move this back. Yeah, see that makes sense because I added more clearance in here, so it's not going to exactly line up, but that's kind of what we're looking for. That makes sense. So that would be like a millimeter. Okay, so that's going through the bottom, so we'll have to move this again. Definitely no expert in Fusion. I just kind of click stuff till it works. Got that. Let's do a section analysis so we can see it cut in half. Alright, so I did some math wrong somewhere. What do we got here? Measure from here to here. Okay, 3 millimeters. That's good. So we just have to change the height of this guy, 3 millimeters. Nope, not that one. This has to be 35. And then the extrude. Oh, way too much. Yeah, everything got fixed. Save this now. Remove this component. Insert the new fixed one. Turn back on section analysis. Boom. That's what we want. See, I don't really like how thin this is, but it might just be how it has to be because I would rather have clearance in here. Guess I could extrude this all the way up actually. Yeah, I think we're going to do that because the clearance should be built into there. Basically, CAD boils down to just making geometries that are closed and then extruding them. I learned this stuff off of a couple YouTube videos, and obviously my day job, I'm a machinist, so I do a lot of it there, but most of my CAD knowledge came from just YouTube and taking on other content creators' insights and everything. You definitely learn a lot with all the information that's out there. Yeah, see, now these fillets aren't happy because they're basically gone. Just get rid of them. think I might hollow this out too, so it's not just a solid block of plastic. Also print faster too. Maybe I'll just leave like little corners for it to sit on. In theory, it should be able to match up with the radius, but never works that way. And I added clearance around there, so it should, yeah, it has to sit on the flat. So I think what I'm gonna do is just cut that out. So you can do this, you could do this a couple ways. You could either go back to your original sketch here and go off the center, or you could just right click on these flat faces, create another sketch, and then you can just create a square, extrude it down. The benefits of this is I can see where the end of the radius is, so you don't have to do math, but also you don't have your center point anymore, which I'm sure there are ways to project the center point onto this, but this is just how I've been doing it. It's just using math. I go back to this original sketch. I think what I would like is just a simple ridge all the way around the inside of that for it to sit on. I think we're just gonna do like a 10mm ridge. We'll see what that looks like. Do another center rectangle. And so 67, so we want, well, 57 will be 5 on either side, so we want 47. I don't remember, 133, so we want 120, no, 112. Do another one up here. Oh, we were not on the center rectangle. There's keybinds for all this stuff too, I just haven't bothered to learn them yet. Alright, now that we have those, we just have to change our sketches here to not include those. Alright, so let's see. Wonder what fillet is. Oh yeah, it's because I filleted up. I did these ones after selecting the whole face, so that's why it's filleting that already, which we don't really want to do right now. Delete these for now. Just like to measure this. Okay, it's 10.5. Yeah, I think we're gonna stay with the 10. It's actually basically 7 after we put the radius on there. We might actually go more. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit more. I'm just subtracting 6mm so I account for the 2 radius on either side. So 41, 106, Alright, so now perfect. Now if I go, we want just a line, 3 millimeters again. Boom, perfect, that'll work. We can't just leave these not radius. Oh shit, okay, we'll have to fix that. Actually, that's fine. We might do a chamfer though instead of a radius. Sometimes it lets you select through these walls here, and then you just have to kind of know what you're looking for. Oh, it's not happy with us. Sometimes you can get away with the fillet tool by just adding smaller measurements until it works. But I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get rid of this fillet on the bottom. The radius looks way better, but a chamfer helps because your printer will like that a lot more. I like the way radius looks, but I'd rather just put a chamfer down here at the bottom, take off the sharp edge, and then actually have a pretty decent chance of printing correctly. Might change the size of that because I don't really like how big it is. So what we're going to do is we're just going to unselect these ones. You can hold control and it will show your radius that you have selected. What happens if we make those 3? Does that look good? Yeah, I think that would look good because the radius on the holders is 3 millimeter. So I think we're going to go with that. Then maybe we can make these. Okay, it doesn't like that. Oh, it doesn't even like that. Interesting. Okay, maybe this is going to be one of those. Sometimes you have to change the order that you do the fillets. So I'll delete this one. Then maybe it'll let me. Oh no. Those might just have to be flat. I don't really like that, but it's kind of how it works sometimes. Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, let's save that. I'm pretty happy with that. See what it looks like. Do the usual. Insert component. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Probably, see now that we have this made for one, I can go through and just change all the measurements of the rectangles for the other sizes I have. I have one of these space mice for CAD, and I'm getting used to it. It's pretty cool, works pretty good, but it's definitely a learning curve. I have to remember to use it sometimes. All right, so that's good. Export this to my desktop. I like to do step files. They hold a lot of the geometry still, and like you with an STL, you're gonna have like a ripple around any kind of radius, but with a step file, you don't. There's probably other benefits. Just step file has always been the one that has worked pretty good. Oh, if I remember what the app's called, that always helps. Start printing this, and then I'll probably upload like a short or something of the two pieces stacked on there because I also have to print another drink mix holder to show it off. Alright, so we got that. I like to put it on this side of the build plate to get away from the auxiliary fan. It just helps a little bit, especially when you have radiuses and fillets. If they just blow on that, it seems like it just wants to pull it off the build plate. I really should set gyroid as my default. I do this all the time. Just come in here and always changing the same settings, but I like this 0.16 millimeter profile a lot better than the 0.2. It prints longer, but also at the same time you get way better finish, and it makes those radiuses come out pretty nice, the ones that would be on the build plate. I have to see what I have in my machine. I think that we are gonna make this white actually. Walk to the printer and change it to white. Alright, white's loaded into the machine. My machine's in another room, so I had to walk to it. Oh, it's thinking. Look at it go. Turn on the lamp. Alright, so we got that. Make it white. Slice that again. So an hour 38. Let's see what it comes out to with the 0.2 millimeter standard profile. Yeah, see, an hour 25. Like I'm willing to sacrifice that little bit extra time for just the better quality of this .16 millimeter profile. Yeah, I mean that's for me, that's worth it. Wonder if I move the seam to back, see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that. That seam will be hidden. All right, we're gonna print that. Yeah, really getting into this hobby really pushed the skill set along. Now I can 3D model stuff. I use it all the time at work to design fixtures and stuff now instead of having to go find a CAD guy and waiting for him. All right, that was the whole process. Modeling something, send it to the printer. Now it's gonna print. But I want to do more of these videos, maybe even upload just some quick videos going through the 3D modeling and 3D design stuff. Use some of my knowledge as a machinist to help everybody understand tolerancing all that, or just whatever. Um, I'm always open for messages, for ideas. You can check out my makerworld. It's linked in the description. It's where I've been uploading stuff. My whole goal with this is to get like a P2S or something just off of makerworld points, and it also helps me expand my skill set by going through and learning how to 3D model better and all that stuff. And it's fun. It's really enjoyable to see like people posting the pictures of the models I made, telling me how much it's solved their problem.